So, good evening, Busi and Munia, and thank you very much for putting a time aside this 1 hour to attend this webinar to improve your knowledge in terms of the topic that we're going to discuss. My name, like both of you know, it's Didier Mbayo, and I am a professional speaker, trainer, and coach from the John Maxwell Academy. And I'm so excited to share with you my little bit of knowledge on this topic, which sounds to me which is very important for entrepreneur and even people who are not entrepreneur. Those principles can also apply in their lives. So the title of today's topic is Proven Success Principles. So these principles are proven to be principles that will help you to achieve success as an entrepreneur and as an individual. I will say so as well. The first slide talk about what do you stand for. And I think as an entrepreneur, when you own an organization, a company, it's very important to know exactly what you stand for. You cannot run a business without knowing what you stand for. A company value lie at the heart of the business and serve as the foundation for starting and growing a company. Identifying your company core value is a fundamental step on the road to success, as once you establish what those values are, you have the answer to a very important question, which is, why do I do what I do? And if you pay a little bit attention on the news, you will see that most companies are paying a lot of attention into having strong values because people want to do business with companies that have strong values. And if you don't have value, it's something that you need to look for if you have a business. And on a personal level, I would say that you still need values because whatever you do, Busi, you just say that you started a new job. And I'm sure you went through a very lengthy process of interview. So in those, when you're going through an interview, there are key questions that HR asks you to find out which type of person you are. And usually companies do not hire people because of the knowledge. It's more in terms of values and what they can do to the business. They want people who are solution driven. So your value are the cornerstone of your business because once you know your value will determine how you conduct your business. Your value will determine how you conduct yourself as a person. So it's the why that you lead with. It's what you stand for and what your company, product, or service is promoting. There are common values that people use, like integrity, boldness, honesty, learning, customer experience. So you need to find the values that are aligned with the vision of your company, your purpose, because one size cannot fit all. You need to have values that are specific to your business. And we will see later on that those values are critical because people buy the feeling and the values that the company embed and the value that the person embed. So you need to pay more attention in terms of your values. So the question that someone may have is, so how do you define those values? The way to define your values, I would advise, will be you need to make a list of what you believe your company represents. Make a list of few situations that best represent your founding principles. Assess your current company culture. Make a list of what you hope to achieve as a company. And finally, make a list of value that fits your company, and then pare down that list until you land at a few that really nail what your business is at its heart. And one of the things that you also need to consider if you have a big organization when you do this exercise, you need to also involve your employee. So your employee can help you also to define the values, because if you can help have the input and have them being involved in the process, it will really help them to buy into those new values. Once you have set the values and you now know exactly what your company stands for, you now need to set goals because the values are there, and you now need to set goals because the goals will help you now to really live those values. And I think in one of my webinar, I don't know if Busi or Munya, you had a chance to watch the webinar, but the first webinar that I had at the beginning of this year was about setting goals. So goals are important because goals are just like your GPS. They help you to know where you're heading and what exactly are you shooting for. There is a guy called Bill Copeland who made this statement in relation to goals. He says the trouble with not having goal is that you can spend your life running up and down the field and never score. And for both of you, the Bible basically tell us in Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, he will establish your plan. So you must come to the Lord with a definite purpose and goals so he can give you the plan and how to achieve it. So God can only help you if you have clear goals. You know exactly what you want. You need to be specific when you set your goals. Having firm, accomplishable goals will grow your business, will cultivate a teamwork and collaboration. And it will help you and your team to know where the business is heading. When your goals are clearly defined, your employee work with purpose toward that goal. And it is with that purpose that teamwork and collaboration are possible. And I think, Busi, Munya as well, working for an organization that does not have clear goals, it becomes confusing because you really don't know what is this organization is trying to achieve. And no one wants to work for an organization that doesn't have clear goals. So the goals are critical for not only the organization, but also the employee to give them a sense of purpose. Because people want to align themselves with a company who know exactly what they're doing, what they're trying to achieve, and the product and service that they're trying to sell to the society. But once you set the goals, you cannot stop there. You need to follow through your goals. Setting goals is the first step, but you must be able to follow through your goals. And how do you follow through your goals? You need to be able to measure your progress toward the goal, and in order for you to achieve some sort of certainty. So the goals need to meet a certain criteria. And usually we talk in the corporate world, they talk about the goals need to be SMART. SMART standing for specific, the M stand for measurable, the A stand for achievable, and the R stand for realistic, and the T stand for time bound. But now in the context of an organization, when we talk about SMART, we talk exactly like the goal need to be specific. It need to be measurable. How will you measure your progress toward your goal? And achievability, what will you gain as a business by achieving the said goal? And the relevance, what does achieving this goal mean for your business? And the timeline, what is the time frame for achieving the goal? So let's take an example. Let's say the company goal is to make 100 million rand in the next 2 years. So how do we measure now this goal? Because we have set a goal, because you always need to start with the end in mind. So now that we set 100 million, it means that per year, for the next 2 years, each year we need to make at least 50 million rand. So now if we need to make 50 million rand, it means that per month, our sales team needs to generate at least 4 million. And then if we go down again, we can be able to track exactly how much the sales team need to generate per week, per day, So those are clear, measurable, because that's how your CEO, your managing director, your CFO will measure progress toward the goal that they've set of 200 million. And on an individual basis, you need to have this type of goals. You need to set yourself goals that are not that are out of reach. Now, there is a lady called Peggy McCall that I usually follow. I listen to her podcast. She wrote very good books, I think 19 books, and one of two, I've read already 3 books. One of them is Savvy Wisdom, the other one is Destiny Switch. That lady defined 3 types of goals. The first type of goal is the A type of goal. So A type of goal. So the A type of goal is basically a goal that you set, but you know how to do it. Like, for example, buy a used car. It's something that anyone can do. You just have to look at your budget and buy the car. The B type of goal, it's something that you think you can do it. Like, for instance, you want to buy a house. So what that means, it means that you need to have a pre-designed plan and put together a down payment to buy the house. Now, the last type of goal is the C type of goal, which is you don't know how to do it. Because the C type goal is something that you don't really know how you're going to make it happen. Like build a multi-million business, because you have no idea and no resource. You don't know exactly how you're going to achieve the goal. But that is the best type of goal that you should be aiming for, because when you don't know how to achieve the goal, you become creative, you innovate, you come up with ideas on how you can make that goal a reality. And remember, when you set something that is out of reach, something for which you even afraid yourself, there is something that you are doing in that moment because you're applying faith. And if you apply faith immediately, for those who are not Christian, the laws of the universe will help you attract the right people and the resource. But for us Christian, we know when we set a C type of goal, it means that we are showing God that we believe that He is God, is going to give us the resource, the means to make this goal achievable. And if we go back to the example that I gave now, companies always use the C-type goal. They stretch themselves. And look at companies. They grow and they become multi-billion business because they always stretch themselves. And it's unfortunate for us as individuals, we usually don't follow the same approach. Once you have now set the goals and you are able to measure them, you now need to get into the rhythm, because you have put the company value, you have the goals, but now you need to put them into play. So you need to be able to execute on your strategy. So one way to do that is to create what they call an operating rhythm. But let's go back to strategy. I like strategy because sometimes people tend to spend a lot of time strategizing. But let's look at the definition of strategy. Strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. So strategy means a plan of action, means you need to take action. But the intention behind all the action is to achieve a long-term or an overall purpose. Now, once you have the strategy, you now need to create a set of rhythm. The set of rhythm means a cadence for productivity by allowing you to engage with your employee on a regular basis. It is also another way to measure your progress, whether that is day-to-day or goal focus. And when we talk about setting a rhythm, it means holding, for instance, a regular meeting with your team to assess the progress toward the goals and to get a feel for how your employees are feeling about the work at hand and how they are working together. And sometimes most organizations usually have this type of gathering that they do on a quarterly basis, where they meet with employee and on a formal setting, and try to get feedback and know exactly where they are in terms of progress in relation to the goals. Create a great marketing plan. That is also one of the proven principles for success. So in terms of strategy, you also need to understand, because you need to differentiate your product or service from other companies. You want to showcase that your brand is unique, is innovative, and aside from your design and logo, your brand is your persona, meaning personality of your company and product. It represents who and what you are. So you need to define what makes it great. Companies like Coca-Cola, for instance, they have a slogan where they say, to inspire moment of optimism and uplift. So Coca-Cola position themselves as a lifestyle brand that is about much more than just manufacturing popular drinks. Let's look at BMW. BMW slogan is the ultimate driving machine. The bold statement is the driving force beyond BMW brand. They aim to produce only the most efficient and elegant vehicles, and the brand promise state this with confidence. So basically, you need to understand that your brand embeds your uniqueness. You need to set yourself apart from the other people with having a brand that really embeds your persona. Your marketing plan should center around winning and keeping customers. It is a strategy that includes the tools and tactics for your plan of actions, including the number and fact for achieving your goals. Knowing what you are selling, what sets you apart, who your target audience is, and how you track progress is essential to how you market your brand. So let's look at what you are selling. Because before you build such a great marketing plan, you need to have an idea of what you are selling. Before determining who your audience is, it's critical to analyze what it is you are selling before marketing your product. If you are selling a product, make a list of your product features and how it change or affect the user. If you are selling a service, make a list of how you are providing your service and how it change or affect the user. Getting clear on what you are selling will allow you to determine your target audience, because you cannot determine your target audience without knowing exactly what you are selling. Is there a need for that service? Is there a need for that product? You have to determine that. And usually people engage into survey just to get a feel of what the people out there are looking for. Is my product that I have in mind, is it the right fit for the people? Is it going to solve a problem? Is it going to meet the need of some people? So once you have been clear in terms of the product that you are selling, now we can move to your audience. What is your target audience? Detailing your target audience will help you measure the success of your product or service by providing a focused look at the market to see if you are hitting your mark. You may want to look at demographics like age, gender, geographic location, earnings, or family structure. Or you may choose your audience based on lifestyle. What type of person are you targeting? Whatever your target is, you will want it to be specific to help you assess what it is that sets you apart from other business. And that's what Facebook does very well. And I think even Instagram, most of the social media platform, once you have a business and you want to know which type of customer can buy into my product, you can be able to select in your target audience the age, the demographic, and that will help you over the time to determine who are those people who are really buying into my product. The next thing in terms of proven principle, it's setting yourself apart. I've said that before. your product need to have some sort of uniqueness. You know, people looking at your product need to see something unique. But again, your uniqueness will depend on the values and the vision that you have for that organization. Your existing or potential customer is the basis for your marketing strategy. So make sure you are serving the customer when you market your product. The marketing tactics you employ to reach your audience can be the social media, networking. Networking, I think some of you, for those who don't know networking, it's pretty much like the platform like Lions Club, the Rotary Club. So those are platforms that have been designed to help people to network. And networking is one of the modern way to make your business known and actually to be able to tap into an audience that you may not know at the beginning when you started your business. And it also allows you to meet people who can help you along the way to grow your business. The billboard, I mean, most of us, we see billboard across the road. It's the best way to also, reach your audience. Newsletter, email, or the like. But all these are just tools to reach the customer. What sets your business, product, or service apart is how you present your product and how you interact with the customer. Provide the customer with the why is the most important thing of your product, not what it is and how you create it. You need to have a story behind your product. You need to have a story behind your service. And I really, when it comes to this, something that comes into my mind is Airbnb. Airbnb started because two people were not able to pay the rent. They couldn't pay the rent. So they came up with this fantastic idea that they're going to rent one of the room in the apartment to the tourist. And from there, they managed to collect enough money to pay the rent. But then they decided from there that they're going to now talk to homeowners and ask them if they could rent the house when they are away, or those houses that they don't really use. Some people who are fully loaded have houses where they just go for vacation, or they go there to rest. They don't want to rent it. So they've been using this type of people, like more or less like a platform, to help them sell a concept. And trust me, this company started in 2007. Today, this company has been valued to $100 billion. And that is the story behind BNB. And when you sell this type of story to a customer, he can only buy into it, because people only buy you. People are emotional by nature. So they make decisions emotionally. So depending on the story that you're selling them, they will buy into your product or service. The same applied to Uber. Uber was created because the owner struggled to find a taxi in America. And then he came up with this concept of having, people with their own cars now providing taxi services. So your story is the most important thing that people are interested. It's the why that gets back to the core of your company, your value and purpose. It sets your product apart because no other product or service share your core value or reason for creating the product. It is unique quality that sets you apart. The other proven success principle, making the dream work, as you see from the picture. Your employee creates your company culture. And without that culture, your marketing efforts are in vain. It is employee that execute on your vision. So catering to your employee is as important as you focus on the customer. And some organizations sometimes forget that. Maintain a strong company culture by putting your effort into the following area. Create and define your vision. A specific vision allows employee to work with a sense of purpose. And purpose feeds into a sense of happiness and overall well-being. The second one, nurture collaboration. Being open to a team dynamic, communication, And transparency gives employee a sense of ownership over the work that they perform. And I've seen that even myself working for organization that I am feeling very happy when I work for an organization where everything is transparent. And from the top management, the communication is made clearly. We know exactly what are the issues that we're facing and how we're going to overcome those issues. No secret, because at the end of the day, if you hide things from from your employee, they will always find out, and you will have people talking in the corridor, and that doesn't really help. The last one is promote performance. No, it's not the last one. Promote performance. Stand firm in your core value and create an environment that is the living, breathing reflection of those values. Be a role model for performance and empower employees to do their best work by setting the example for success. And that is critical because people need to get that when we perform, we exceed the expectation, we get rewarded. Cultivate a culture of learning. It's also another way to help you to create a strong company culture. People need to be constantly learning. And unfortunately, if you don't learn or you're not improving, you are going backward. So there is no way. You either go forward or you go backward. So the people who keep learning are always able to bring solutions. They are always able to come up with new ideas because they are exposed to learnings and they can expand the horizon. So it's very important to maintain such culture. And big organizations really spend a lot in terms of, nurturing that culture of people keep learning. Because at the end of the day, when people learn more, they also add value to the business. They come with creative ideas that help the business to move forward. The last one is ensure results. Be transparent when it comes to company performance and projections. Employees that are informed are more likely to be motivated toward a goal. The employee needs to know exactly what is going on. Don't hide those things from them, especially when you are a listed company or you are a big company, because your annual report, whatever you put out there, people will find out exactly what is happening. The other proven principle is measuring teamwork. There are several ways to see if your efforts to maintain company culture is paying off, and that is by measuring teamwork performance. The first one is attendance. Attendance is a good indicator of how inspired or motivated your employees are. The second one, efficiency. Meeting deadline and being prepared are a reflection of the instruction and tools that are in place in order to be effective. And if I go back, attendance, you will see companies where people are not really committed. There is a high number of people who are always sick on a Monday or Friday. So you have to check those things. Then you can see how committed your employees are, how people feel excited to come to work. And efficiency help you as well because you need to see how people meet the deadline. People ensure that when they work on a project, they always provide the input on time. The third one, it's helpfulness. Helpfulness is how helpful your employees are within teams and with customer is a good indicator of overall morale. Because when you create a good company culture, people easily talk to each other. There is no such things as work in isolation. Everyone try to work as a team. And the fourth one is initiative. Initiative is a sign of fulfillment and satisfaction. Because when people enjoy their job, they enjoy the team, they enjoy the whole organization, they always have the sense of initiating things. Quality is the last one. Quality work is reflective of the environment where the work is being performed. Because when people enjoy what they do it with such a heart and it produces quality. The former CEO of General Electrical, Jack Welch, what he used to do to create and maintain this type of company culture, he used to go on the field and spend time with people who were actually working with, in the mining, to understand exactly the struggle that they were going into. So getting closer to your team is also a best way to create that company culture. Being the boss doesn't mean that you need to sit in the office. Being the boss means that you need to be accessible. You need to be able to show people that I am just one of you. I can also do the same thing that you do. And that brings us to stay close to the core. Staying engaged in the daily performance of a company is how a leader or a business owner stay within the pulse of employee satisfaction and performance. One way to stay in touch is by periodically working directly with your team. Maybe you end up answering phones in customer service or packing product in production. Whatever it is that you decide to do, being in the mix makes you accessible, and it gives employee a real sense of belonging. It keeps you at the heart of your business and living by your value. The other thing, which is one of the key principles of success for companies and even individuals, focus on your strength. You know, many people like to focus on their weakness. You have to focus on your strength. Why? Because your strength will always help you to be excellent in whatever you do. So part of what makes a strong company culture is in recognizing and playing into individual strength. The most inspired people are the ones who are valued for what they can do rather than recognized for how they fall short. Being reminded of weakness does not produce productivity, but being acknowledged for strength create an overwhelming inspirational environment. And each one of us knows that when you get praise for your strength, you actually it boosts your confidence. And Peter Drucker, the father of management, once said that the effective executive build on strength, their own strength, the strength of the superior, the strength of the colleague and the subordinate, and on the strength of the situation. So focusing on the strength of people is a better way to lead them as well, because you want people to give 100% of themselves. Their weakness is not going to help that much. They can try, they can improve. It's like me, I don't like numbers. So if you ask me to focus on numbers, it's really an area where I'm weak. Musi, you're an accountant, you enjoy the numbers. Maybe you don't like dealing with, anything related to law, anything related to agreement. So as long as you focus on your strength, you play in your strength, you will always excel. The other success and proven principles is keep your edge. The world of business is ever changing. We've seen that with COVID. And even though you are staying firm in your value, it is crucial for the success of your business to continue learning and changing so that you stay ahead of the curve. I will keep stressing that. You need to keep growing as an entrepreneur, as a person. Because if you don't grow, the only thing that will happen to your business, you will go backward. Because when you don't grow, others are growing, others are bringing new products and services. For them to be able to do that, it means that they actually encourage the employee, the research and development division, to keep learning so they can be ahead. So make sure that you keep growing as a person, as an organization, in terms of learning, so you can be able to adapt in the change that are happening. Look at COVID. COVID came unexpectedly last year. Nobody was expecting COVID. So it meant that it changed people's perspective. It changed the way people were looking at things. And only people who have a growth mindset were able to navigate this crisis. So it's good to keep yourself learning. Always stay on trend in the market and design work to make sure your brand stay relevant and that your product continue to serve its purpose. There is a lady for which I've read the book. Her name is Linda Proctor. She wrote a book for which the title is Earn It and Enjoy It. She says the following. The learners are continually preparing themselves to adapt to the change. So as long as you keep learning, you will always be ahead and you will always be able to come up with new ideas and solutions that are much needed in time of crisis and in time of change. Embracing your failure is another success proven principle. Every business has experienced failure, whether it's a product, employee, or service failure. Everyone has experienced it along the way. One of the best ways to feed your company culture and continue growing your business is to openly address failure. In some organization, when somebody fails, it's like it's a crime. Failure and success are very good friends. They walk hand in hand. So in life, you have to look at failure as a lesson. What am I learning from this failure? Look at the example of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he made the electrical bulb. But when he was asked that he failed 10,000 times, he basically says, I did not fail 10,000 times. I actually discovered 10,000 ways that the electrical bulb will not work. So everything depends on your perspective. What is your perspective when you fail? You shouldn't look at fail, especially for entrepreneur and for individual, as that there's something wrong with you. No, failure are always the precursor of success. I read Ray Dalio books, The Principle. The Principle, in that book, he actually he outlined something that was very interesting and that really caught my attention. He says that when he started his company, he had a log where everyone could come and write their failure. The reason behind that was that everyone in the organization should know that if I do this, this is what's going to result. This is going to lead to a failure. So therefore, it was a best way to help everyone in the organization to not feel afraid of exposing the failure. Because by them exposing those failures, the organization was able to now think about solutions. One of the best ways to feed your company culture, like I've said, and continue growing your business is to openly address your failure. Failure can lead to more failure unless you are willing to look at each failure and use it to your advantage to help propel your future success. John Maxwell wrote a very interesting book that is called Failing Forward. And that book is basically saying that failure is part of you becoming a better you. So you need to look at failure as something that you can learn from. And that means you need to change your perspective. And changing your perspective means you need to change your self-limiting belief, ideas, and paradigm that you always had for many years, that the society told you that when you fail, you are nobody, you are useless. Another success proven principle is you have to make sure that your organization and yourself as a person, you make a difference. As a business owner, you strive to make the environment within your company a great, inspired place to work, and you should also endeavor to make the world outside of your company a great place to live. Creating a brand comes with the responsibility of making an impact at the employee and customer level, but your brand can also serve a greater purpose by way of taking sustainability measures or even focusing on a community-based cause. And we see that with big organizations, they have what they call social responsibility division, where they focus more on doing things that will help the community. Because at the end of the day, you operate in a community. So the community need to see that you have the best interest at heart. And some companies really take that as an important point, because remember, in some for some regulators around the world, when a company has been granted a license to operate, they look at what the company does in terms of helping the community. Because ultimately, when you set up a business, it's not only for money. Even you as a person, when you decide to become wealthy or to decide to earn more, it's not only for you. You're earning money because you want to help other people. So there must be something beyond yourself that you're standing for. And of course, if people can see that this company or this person is more in terms of helping other people to become better, is there to help this organization is there to help, the community. They've built a school, they've built a hospital. Of course, those people will always, give they vote and make sure that this company is never, out of business. They will always make sure that they say good words, just to keep the company afloat. Giving back to the community or the world at large, show your dedication to your value, and it goes above and beyond in setting your company apart from the rest. Another success proven principle is you have to celebrate all the wins. Celebrating the wins, it's a very good way of creating that company culture and also showing to people that you care about them. Don't forget the importance of celebrating your success with employees. Keep your company culture of motivated employee strong by taking the time to celebrate success. Engagement at this level provides validation and acknowledgement of the work being performed. I can give you some example of how to celebrate success. Give your employee bonuses, because bonuses are the best way to really create this sense of belonging from the employee perspective. Those employees feel that we really belong to this organization. We've been able to be part of this great win. You win a big deal. Don't just keep the bonuses for the salespeople. Extend the bonuses to other people. Have a barbecue, have a party. Create a special award for high-performing department, So those are the best way to, help you to celebrate success. And the last proven principle, success proven principle, be open to feedback. Feedback is the recipe of champion. Asking for feedback from employee is a great way to best assess your own performance. It's also a constructive way to help you reflect, grow, and succeed as a leader. On an individual level, you get feedback when you decide to have a coach, when you decide to have a mentor, because those people will help you to pick up your blind spot. Because you cannot you cannot see your blind spot. But those people will be able to tell you that, look, based on the goal that you have set, the thing that you stand for, this is where you fall short. Of course, choosing a mentor and the coach is another story. You also need to look at specific criteria and things that you need to see in a coach or a mentor. Good time to ask for feedback is usually after a company meeting or before, or for employee, they get the annual review with the line manager, they get feedback, or you can, incentivize by running a survey, because usually company run a survey where employee give the feedback in terms of the overall way the company is conducting business and how are they fitting in that big picture. But don't forget, your response after receiving the feedback is just as important as asking, because it's good to ask for feedback, but you also need to give a response and say that, you really agree with most of the feedback that you got from people. And trust me, usually when people give you feedback, it comes from a perspective where they want to see you becoming better. And for an organization, they want the organization to be better. So those feedback are good because they help you to see where you can improve, because we always strive to become better and improve. And we come to the end of my presentation. And I really thank you, Busi and Munya. I don't know who else is on the call. Many thanks for, attending this webinar.
Thank you so much. That was useful.
And I just want to show you, I've got some, this last slide. These are the sources that I use to put together this webinar today. So I can share it. I can send you the presentation, and then you can read those sources. It's going to help you as well. And if you want to deep dive more and understand, the proven success principle. Okay, thank you very much. For those who are watching this webinar, if they want to contact me, they can, email me. This is my email address and my cell phone, and this is my website. Thank you. So I'm opening up to question Lucy and Munia.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And it's an eye-opener, and it's also something, I think some of the things we have learned. But I've often seen the organization really struggle when we talk about values and especially what their goals are. The challenge that normally comes is that the organizations are more clearly geared towards achieving financial goals, and as opposed to really providing value to their target customers. Because for you to establish an organization or a company, it means you have seen a problem. You have seen a space where you really want to offer a value or a product which is going to be of value to your customers. So your main aim is not to exist there to earn 100 million per year, but your main aim, or the reason you are in business, is to offer a product or to give a value in terms of service to your customers. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the focus is actually sometimes mismatched, because now the companies are more clearly targeted towards achieving financial goals, as opposed to really offering value to their customers. The money will come as long as you offer value. If you look at how Apple does their products, the Apple products, either the iPhone, the MacBook, or even the way they package it, you actually see it's high quality. There is value in whatever you buy. And people really, just imagine, people really prefer to buy an expensive item as opposed to a cheap item, because of the value that they get when they buy the Apple product. And what I'm saying, we really need to aim to give or to offer the best value, or the best value for product, so that the money definitely will come relative to that. But what I'm saying, our aim, or the main purpose why a company or an organization exists, is to offer a value, or to offer a valuable product, whereby when you get this product or you get this service, you feel that, yes, this is really what I was looking for, and I'm satisfied with it. And I think that's where most organizations, they only talk about the bottom line, the bottom line, the bottom line. And in the end, they rush things. They're only after money. And the person make a mistake, tomorrow he is fired, because their aim is that I could not make the profit because now you messed up and all that. So in the end, you actually see most organizations, some of them are the culprits as the big organizations. Their main aim is to make money, profit, that. And in the end, they lag behind on offering quality value or quality products. And I think it's one of the challenges they really come across. And they got values that are written and archived somewhere, but not the real value that I should experience. I don't want to see those values written on the wall. I need to say, when I knock into office, I should experience the values. I should feel that, yes, these people, they really know what they're doing. It's not just on paper, but it's in reality. I need to see that value in everything, even in the communication, the interaction, even the way I even pay money to you. I should be smiling, sending you my invoice or paying you a check or whatever. I should be happy, but not you just after money and all that. I think that's one area I just wanted to point out, because I've seen a lot, I think especially the big organizations, they really struggle.
Yeah, but I think usually when you look at it, like you rightly say, what usually drives this is because of probably the founder of that organization is no longer alive. So the people who took over has forgotten the founding principle. What exactly the guy who created that company was standing for? Yes, money, you need to generate profit because you need to keep the business afloat. But what was the need that you were trying to serve? What is the difference that you wanted to bring in the community and for your employee that will be working for that organization? And that's why, you see, once an organization starts deviating from those values and principles, usually organizations do not last long. Because at the end of the day, either they have to reinvent themselves by going back to the drawing board and looking at the core value that defined that organization when it was created to go back and readjust the product and service in relation to the core value. Because remember, like I said in one of the slides, people buy you as a product because of the story behind. So if over the years the story starts changing and you become more focused on profits, people at the end of the day will move. Today we have competition in such a big way. Look, today you want something, Samsung, you can go buy the latest Samsung would give you amazing feature. You go to Huawei, you buy excellent products. So today, what makes people like me or you or Busi buy an iPhone is because of the experience that we have. And that is probably, if we look back to the core value of Steve Jobs when he created that company, Steve Jobs was more focusing on quality. And that's why we like iPhone, because there is always not only quality, it's always innovation on the go. They always come up with a new product, new features. You see, so it's not even a matter of price, just like you said. People are not willing, the price is not really an issue. It's about the value, what we're getting. And we feel that this organization, beyond money, they are there to serve. They look at the customer as the most important asset. They look at the employee as the most important asset. You see, so that's where usually I think the issue starts, because when the founder of that organization sold the company or whatever he sold it to, that person who took over, because look, we are in a world where merger, acquisition happen every day. So whoever took over forgot or do not really necessarily want to keep the same value and principle that were there when the company started. And trust me, usually after a while, that company will not sustain. Because if you are there only for money, remember I spoke about the value. When it's only money that drives you, you will definitely go against your value, either integrity or all sorts of things. Look at Huawei. There's so many scandals with Huawei that they've been doing this. Some people say that it's a way of American to use this type of tactic to weaken Huawei, but there's just too many scandals. You know, I remember one day being called by a recruiter because there was a senior position at Huawei. They said, no, we look at your profile, we think that you are a good fit. Now, as we were talking, she told me, look, this position requires someone who is flexible. Then I said, what do you mean by flexible? Well, you just think about flexibility. I say, well, my understanding of flexibility means I need to be able to interact with other stakeholders, and I need to be able to also take into account other people's perspective when it comes to me giving a legal opinion. But I hope that when you say flexibility, it doesn't mean that I need to break the law. You understand? So those are things that people can pick up. If you start breaking the laws today, the scrutiny on companies is much higher than before. It's just a tweet can ruin the reputation of a company. So if company keep doing what they're doing just for money, being able to do whatever just to get to the bottom line, they always get caught. And reputation can really bring the business to a halt. You can lose millions in a couple of minutes just because a tweet went out and the investors start pulling out because you are not a company that we would like to work with because your values are not aligned with our values. Busi, do you have any comments?
Yes, I completely agree about the balance between profits and balancing goals and not being lost along the way. And sometimes, like, I even find in some organizations that when it comes to what you presented, they don't know where the responsibility lies.
Mm.
Like, obviously, the CEO, the CFO have like profit objections that they need to chase, like staying alive, making sure people still have their jobs. And then you get HR, which is not really strategic. Like, it's not about making sure individuals set goals they feel engaged in the company, there's teamwork. So that they fall aside because they're also more focused on hiring and firing and managing payroll and stuff like that. So then, like, it feels like the last person it's left to is like your line managers in the business. But then, how do you engage the line managers if senior executives are also not engaged? So it's very tricky. Like, I remember, like, when I was at ACB, they're very serious about this. So it's devised in the senior executive level, and it trickles down to the managers, and then you spread it throughout the business, and it's your responsibility to make sure you uphold the company's goals, you push on the company's strategy. But any other company subsequent to that I've joined, all of this gets lost along the way. Like, as long as the money keeps coming in, no one actually bothers. And I think that's what I've found from my experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what is very sad, because most of the time you get investors or shareholders that are more focused on the bottom line. And like I've said, I mean, for listed companies, I mean, whoever buys shares is more concerned in terms of profitability. So he doesn't care whether there is something, you know, that the senior management team is doing that is unethical or not compliant. Because the thing at the bottom line, at the end of the day, is the company reputation is a big risk when people just focus on money, because just one thing can just destroy the entire business model of an organization. You see. So,
Mm.
yeah. Okay. Any other comments that you have, Munia and Busi, before we close the webinar?
No, nothing from my side.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted just a small little one, just to say, I think we companies need to keep the. There was one slide you talk about renewal. You really need to keep on renewing. We had companies that used to be big, like Nokia. I think when they were the start phones, I think the people started using, but somewhere along the way, I think they slept or they forgot that they need to renew, and all these other companies went ahead of them. We had another company as well, Ericsson. They used to do these phones as well. They started, I think, even the earliest phones were either Nokia or Ericsson, but somewhere along the line they slept or something didn't go right with them. So, like you said, you really need to keep on renewing, and it's
Yeah.
not like after every. It's a daily thing, not like to wait for until such things happens or anything. The things of like environmental, how you look after environment, it's also a big thing. A big organization can lose their businesses, they don't manage that aspect. So even things that you don't directly contribute to your business, currently they are also important. So you don't have to ignore anything around you, your environment, your employees, the product, the quality. It's like new cars are coming every day. And these you used to have like an edition maybe after 3 years or 4 years, but it's like in a year they continuously come, so they keep on improving, because otherwise you lose out from competition, and the people are coming with brand new ideas and new products, new things. So we need to keep on renewing everything, whether it's a product or it's a service, whatever we are doing, we need to keep renewing to keep our business floating.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for attending the webinar. I'll see you if you make time. The next webinar is, I think, on the week of the 26th of March. And I think it's about becoming a person of influence. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.